All right, good morning and welcome to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. My name still remains Omobola Sandra, and yesterday was agog, of course, with the revelation of the new Naira notes. It was quite an interesting one. A lot of reactions, different reactions actually came with that particular, revelation. A lot of people had a lot of things to say. I mean, even if you have to be honest with yourself, I'm sure you also had one or two, interesting thoughts as regards that the change that they made to the Naira. And I mean, especially the 500 naira, the proposed 500 naira or the new 500 naira or the redesigned 500 naira, that's looking like the current 200 naira. It's there's a lot that I particularly took away from that one. There's been a lot of conspiracy theories also. There's been a lot of theories. There's been a lot of allegations. There's been a lot of speculations, projections. But the thing is, this has come to stay, and this is what we are going to be spending from December 15, officially January 2023. But a lot of reactions, and it's interesting that this actually is happening on a day that we usually leave our mics open. I really hope that we can try to keep conversation as clean as possible. If not, we of course know what to do from this end. But it's time for Trends in the Papers. Before we start taking reactions or whatnot as regards the new Naira notes unveiled by the president in Abuja yesterday, it's on the front pages of all the dailies. I mean, nobody can say they have not seen the new Naira notes. There are a lot of reactions to that one. But before we go through the trending stories on the front pages, I have Fuad Sahid joining me via the phone line. Good morning, Fuad.
Good morning, Sandra.
Yes. So I don't know, when you saw the new Naira notes, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
well, we have a new note.
That's all.
We have new notes. Really.
New notes. Three
I
notes.
was hoping that when you say you're redesigning,
I was looking forward to more than this. I mean, I don't know.
I was even looking at maybe a bit of adjustment in the size. Maybe
yes.
the movement of one or two features.
Exactly.
Maybe
Yes.
of one or two features or
Yes.
something.
We talked about it yesterday, and I mentioned something about I'm looking forward to if there will be change the faces on it. Will it still be now?
I was not really even thinking about the faces, but maybe one or two things,
features,
just, one or two icons here and there to change the face of the Naira. But I think what we saw yesterday was basically a change of color.
It's color upgrade. It's color upgrade.
I don't know about upgrade, but I know that it was more of a change of color, really.
We don't know if the texture will be the same. I remember when they redesigned the 15 naira, 20 naira, 10 naira.
No, I think it's the same texture, just the color seems to have changed. And I really, it's a redesign, because again, if you change the color of something, you redesign it. But again, I was hoping, like I said, I was going to see one or two, three icons here and there that would show that really the Naira is redesigned. I was hoping that, okay, maybe we'll have a reduction in the size, something, but again, it is what it is. That's new notes that we'll be spending from December. And,
but
December
what
15th.
I am even more concerned, in the conversation, I'm more concerned with the fact that the new 500 naira is the replica of the old 200 naira. I just really hope people should pay attention in the next 1 year. Everybody should just pay attention to the money they give.
Do you think people are going to be so careless to the point that they're going to give us 500 for thinking it's 200 naira? And I don't go do that mistake. Money is cash. I can't. People will get used to it. Like
of course, as time goes on, yes.
But the social media, people are so Nigerians, when it comes to their men, the comedy that comes, the humor that comes with things.
A lot of reactions. I don't even want to start going into the social media reaction. There are even some conspiracies as regards the resemblance to a certain country's notes.
No. I saw a post from DME Sakapita, and I really agree with what you were trying to say. That when you throw some of these conspiracy theories, me, I just I saw his post. He was talking about the fact that there was too much resemblance with some of our West African neighbors in terms of their own currency and all of
The
that.
colorization, yes.
I just thought that CDME don't start it, but the fact is, this is what we'll be spending, and but it was just more of a change of color, really. I thought I was going to see something more creative, something, but then
it just seemed like just put some filter on it. Like when you're taking pictures, just put filter on it.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about filters. I don't.
You don't use filters. Okay, I get you. All right, but the point is, I think it's people are a little bit underwhelmed with what they saw, because a lot of
the excitement. People are. I thought Nigerians were really excited.
Yes, they were excited. Yeah, they want everybody.
But the whole thing was dashed, really.
I mean,
nothing. From change of color. Really,
from the reactions of people online and offline. That a lot of people were looking forward to something more than just changing
more
of color.
Creative,
yes,
something more beautiful, something more designing. But it was just a change of color, really. And what was like, is that a redesign? It's just about colors. But again, it is what it is. And would have taken advantage of the fact that we'll be printing new notes to design something. There's a way you do something, and there's a lot of thinking has gone into it. But yeah.
Thank you very much for coming into that particular one. A lot of thinking. Some people are also of the opinion that this was a rushed decision in such a short period, and just the fastest thing or the easiest thing they could do was to change the color.
No matter how rushed the decision is, there was still enough time to have come up with something more, more intuitive, something that you say, oh, okay. There was a bit of deep thinking in all of it, but it's just a change of color, nothing added, nothing removed, just the color.
All right. Well, so help us God. All right. Let's go into trends in the papers. We have the Guardian, the Punch, and Vanguard newspaper for today. I'll start with the Guardian newspaper, and the major headline there: CBN rallies support for cashless economy, unveils new notes. Okay, and we have riders to it, and what we have is new notes fortified against counterfeiting, says the President Buhari. And we also have Emefiele, the CBN governor, saying EFCC, ICPC to track withdrawals of large volumes of cash. All right, and old banknotes should be allowed to phase out over time, Adi insists. All right, that's another conversation that has been interesting in recent times. The fact that the time frame for the mop-up is short, between December 15 and January 31st.
Who were the people that kept money at home? They should, yes. Now, who were the people that kept cash at home? I'm sorry, some of them are criminals. Yes, now, like I said, as a Nigerian, at my level, I'm not bothered that about the timeline, because I didn't keep cash at home.
Exactly.
For those that kept cash at home, they should be the ones to sort themselves out. And the citizens seem to have directed banks to work extra hours, which I don't know how that would be, because again, there are banks who close early because of the issue of power and the rest. But I'm saying that, look, unless you're a criminal, you're doing something crazy. Why would you have that large amount of money at home, and then you're saying about extension? I think the deadline is okay. If you have cash at home, take it out now.
So you're saying now that it's only people who have large amounts of cash, which is
and
questionable.
Who are badly criminal minded or doing some shady things that will have that large cash. What are you saying? A month is not enough to bring out your cash and take it to the bank?
How much do I even have? Do I have up to 2,000 in my wallet?
So that's what I'm saying. That who are those people demanding for more time? What exactly were they doing with those cash?
All right.
They say, look, they can't,
all right. Also still a rider to that. We have experts say currency redesign has no economic relevance. What are your thoughts as regards that? That conversation also came up. That what's the point of the redesign? Is it going to, stop inflation, reduce inflation? Is it going to, increase the value of the naira? I don't know what exactly is the purpose, or was the purpose, the intent and purpose of the redesigning of the naira?
Well, the CBN was clear about his decision to redesign the naira, and that this was even a policy that should happen at regular intervals.
Cash.
And all of that. So they were clear about the fact that there were too many cash in circulation out of the banking system and all of that, and the fact that, look, again, some of the people who had been involved with getting ransom and all those kind of things would be forced to bring out some of this money. Again, the fact that some politicians had also kept large amounts of cash in their personal vaults and all that, will be forced to bring it out. So the reason for doing this was clear. Whether it was going to have an immediate economic impact, well, it's not something I can say for a fact. But there were going to be impacts, and we're already seeing it. The BDCs are also responding somehow. The fact that people that were rushing to change the dollars. Again, we said it at the beginning that the EFCC needed to also work with the banks to ensure that people don't mess up the entire intention for doing this. So, but there's a news that broke yesterday. I don't know whether has picked it, but I saw it on Channels TV that some bandits, I think in Zamfara, we're now saying that we're not going to release their captives
until the new design is out,
that
so
they
that
will not
they can
collect some in the old notes. They will collect in the new. You're just so obviously these are some people who are demanding for more time, because so you can see that indeed there seems to be some level of correctness in the fact that look, some of these guys are the targets of this redesign of the naira, because they have this money kept in different places in cash and all of that. So I really think that beyond even redesign of the naira, again we need to step up on our security, because if you are in news like that, they will keep their people until the new naira is out for them to collect it. Luckily, the CBN is talking about it, also monitoring large withdrawals, mainly the new naira note is released.
Yes.
Because it's important too, because the new naira note comes out and then you have people withdrawing again, and then we return to the same problem. So it's important that the EFCC has a lot of work to do on this standard.
I wanted to also add to that, with the fact that we're supposed to have a redesign of currency notes every 5 to 8 years. If we actually do this, it will help to reduce people who stockpile cash in their homes, because that in the next 5 years, that cash that you have in your house is going to be expired, so you won't be able to spend it. All right.
But what we're saying is that as good as that is, if our banking system, the regulatory agencies, the AFCC, ICPC, and every other agency are supposed to ensure that people don't sabotage the process, don't do their job, we'll still end up with the fact that look, the thing is redesigned, but people try to find back doors of getting cash. So it's important that the EFCC steps up to ensure that all the banks work with them and flag off suspicious transactions.
All right. Well, another thing that we should also put at the forefront is the fact that the president also mentioned that the new banknotes will help the CBN to implement better monetary policy objectives, and also that features of the new notes would make them difficult to forge. So apparently there are some. I didn't
see any feature. Maybe there are some hidden features that I've not really seen the physical things. Maybe there are physical features that.
That's why I said maybe the texture. We've not felt the note itself. The texture could be what. Yes. So let's.
On display yesterday, the only thing that was obvious as a change was the color. So.
I'm sorry, I can't get over the fact. A lot of graphic designers, started coming up with a lot of. So
funny things, yeah?
Yes, I mean, I was seeing a lot of pictures, and remember, I was like, okay, so maybe Michael somewhere was the one that helped the CBN to just
design this thing.
Just change the color.
There was no design really; it was just a change of color. It's almost difficult for me to say, but it's a redesign. For me, it was just like when you do a color touch.
Just change the color of it. All right, moving on now. But more details of this particular report on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. CBN rallying support for cashless policy as they unveil the new notes. Okay, you can get all of the details on page 6. Well, starting from the front page to page 6 of the Guardian newspaper, and the new note is also there, just in case you want to have an idea of what it looks like, just in case you've not seen it. All right, and if you are watching us on Facebook or YouTube right now, I'm holding up the paper so you can see the new notes, just in case you have not been able to see it online. Well, all right, and moving on now, still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, we have here 2023, UK is watching Nigeria closely. British High Commissioner tells politicians. All right, and that is also on page 6. And we've had this conversation before as to why international the international community has to say that if you guys don't do the right thing, I mean, we're going to sanction you. You're not going to be allowed to our country. All of that talk. We've had that conversation before, and what we have here now is the UK reiterating that they're going to be watching, the elections very closely. They're going to be looking up to INEC to do the right thing, and any politician or political party that goes out of line will face some certain, restrictions. I think entry restrictions. Yes.
Don't give them visa. It's as much as you want to say yes, of course, it's within the rights of the Western world to monitor elections, to also set agenda and talk about the fact that we need to be upright in the way we conduct our elections, and the idea of issuing threats. So it just brings back the same imperialist structure, the days where they dictate to you what to do, how you do it, and all of that. But it's just because, again, we've not been able to really
put ourselves in. Yes.
That's the reason why, an imperialist power like the UK will tell you, if you don't do your elections well, so people found one thing will be denied visas and all of that. I'm hoping that, we'll build our nation to the point where such threats don't come to us again, so where we are such a sovereign nation, we raise our heads up high up there, we do the right things, we are so proud of our country, not anybody telling us or dictating to us or issuing this kind of threat. But again, we've run the country to a point where we are now a subject of foreign ridicule, when these things come. It just makes you feel, that national pride, you feel really, really bad for the country that, it has to take the UK to come and tell us how to live our lives or how to do things properly. It's unfortunate, really.
All right. Well, more details of that on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here.
Forget that the UK too should have actually find a way to sanction Donald Trump, who up till today doesn't believe that the elections in the US was not.
Are you accusing them of double standards? Are you accusing them of double standards?
Trump is still telling you that the election was rigged, threatening this very essence and foundation of American democracy. Nobody said anything about it.
Nobody's.
But again, it is what it is,
Yeah, it's well. Let me know. See what I wanted to say. All right, moving on. We also have poll ranks Obiano as best Anambra governor since 1999. Who did the poll and who were the people that voted or did? That's it. So
the same Obiano.
The same Obiano that was okay. Sorry.
And you don't talk too much about.
Not captured.
Don't use all your mouth to talk.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. So what we have here. So in a survey conducted by a financial literacy and content platform, that's Financial Street, that targeted project funding, impact and scale of investment, as well as security of projects. The immediate past governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, was credited with excellence in all the three areas. So they released the result of the survey, and they said they decided to embark on the poll to gauge public perception on government performance and project relevance to the people. I'll ask a question. So why didn't they do this across all states? Why?
So the interest is maybe Anambra.
Is in Anambra State. It's all right. So they we have about 4 governors that they went through their performance ratings. Okay, so he said the researchers from the firm went around all the 21 local government areas of Anambra and administered open-ended questions to a random sample size of about 1,000 people in each of the 3 senatorial districts, and they targeted adults of voting age, working class men and women, business owners, traders that are Anambra residents. So after all was said and done, findings from the polls show that about 61% of respondents rated Dr. Chris Ngige as number 1 in the area of road construction and maintenance. Okay. Peter Obi and Obiano scoring. Okay, Peter Obi scored 20% and Obiano scored 18%. That's as regards road construction and yes. So what we have now is 79% of all these respondents rated Obi above all the former governors in the area of agribusiness. 71% and 61% said he performed better than previous administration. So basically they did a poll in Anambra State, and Obiano was the best performing governor.
But the headline, but the report is a bit, doesn't really support the headline somehow. Because if you just read the headline, all you have thought that, it depends on the indices. Again, when it comes to polls, surveys, and one of the things that you must know is that polls and surveys are a bit subjective. So I think we should just move on from it. I don't know.
Yes, I agree.
Again, these are election periods, and sometimes you have to be careful.
Things are happening. That's why I was asking that. How come it was
you have to question the
Anambra, and then in recent times the current governor was saying a lot of things. So yes.
So let's just move on.
That's on page 2 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here 2023 poll will dislodge desperate politicians. Igini Amadi declare. All right, and that is on page 3. So speakers at inaugural Ariyo Daria Toye Memorial Election Management and Governance Dialogue Series have extolled the provisions of Electoral Act 2022. So this includes former Akwa Ibom resident electoral commissioner Mike Igini, director of Abuja School of Social and Political Thought Dr. Sam Amadi, and human rights activist and convener of Concerned Nigerians, DG Adeyanju. So they expressed optimism that sterling provisions of the act will help to sweep away desperate politicians whose stock in trade is devising ways to circumvent electoral rules and regulations. So basically praising the Electoral Act and believing that with the provisions from the Electoral Act, we should be expecting something beautiful, smooth, and seamless in the 2023 general elections.
That's what we expect. That's all we expect. But no matter how good a law is, the people also have to play their own role. They have to play their own part in ensuring that, if, for example, vote buying, the issues of vote buying, the idea of voting your conscience, then coming out to vote, voter apathy, the idea of people sitting out and playing football on election day, or just not getting involved. So the laws, we all have to commend the Electoral Act. There are provisions that seems to have been created in the law to ensure that we have a proper electoral process in 2023 and even beyond that. But I think the people also have to stand up and play their part.
All right, so there are a lot of statements. So statements and reports here. If you look deep, or if we dig deep into that particular report, they said if the Electoral Commission is shy of doing their job, then they should be disbanded. Well, according to him, the truth of the matter is that even the judiciary is in a mess. So if the INEC doesn't do what's needful and you subject judges to having to look into electoral offenses and whatnot, so help us all. But it's a very long read. We can get all of the details on page 3. One thing I just want to quickly take away from this one, or I want to read out for you, Fuad, I want to get your thoughts, is elaborating on sections of the Electoral Act. Igini disclosed that although the National Assembly accepted only 48 out of the 91 provisions recommended for amendment by INEC, there are doubts that the lawmakers, did they actually read the bill? Did they actually read through, or did
they just pass it? Or they just take and pass. Well, the thing is this, there are. I'm sure there are.
Remember, let me put something to your bring something to your remember that this same Electoral Act did a lot of back and forth. Let's make this change. So that I think that's part of what may want to inform such doubts coming into it, that did these people actually go through this documents or the amendments?
I'm sure they will. They would have gone through it before passing or even rejecting some of the provisions in the bill. Because again, these are election matters. It concerns them too. They are elected in. They are also stakeholders in what the law would eventually say. So I'm sure they would have gone through. Remember, they also have personal assistants. They have legal advisors. They have different committees who are supposed to check some of these things and bring it up for proper scrutiny and discussion. So I'm sure they would have gone to the problem is how well do they understand the issues should be for me the question, because again we see situations where some of the laws passed in the Electoral Act seem to contradict the provisions of the law itself, the constitution itself. So
All right.
Those are just some of the areas that I thought that we need to pay some attention to, where
Okay.
laws are made
Okay.
and not
Okay.
to now contradict the dictates of the constitution itself. But
All right.
they have what it takes to read, get understanding on some of those provisions. I think they did that.
All right. Moving on now, we also are still on the front page of the Guardian. HIV prevalent in girls and women 60% higher than in men, says NACA. Basically, what that is saying is ahead of World AIDS Day. World AIDS Day is 1st of December. National Agency for Control of AIDS alerted that girls and women in Nigeria are disproportionately burdened by HIV, which causes AIDS. I don't know if that. Well, we can get all of the report and the statistics from page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. I think everybody should just stay clean. Ashiru accuses El Rufai of plunging Kaduna into debt, unfolds economic agenda. And that is on page 9 of the Guardian newspaper. All right, and let's see what exactly we have here. So, People's Democratic Party governorship candidate in Kaduna State for the 2023 general election, that's Issa Ashiru, has said the APC government under Nasir El Rufai plunged the state into indebtedness with $574 million foreign loans and 361 billion naira domestic debt. So he's lamenting that the debt profile will be a burden to the incoming government next year.
This is a political statement. Politicians will always come up with some of these things, and but again, I like to just talk about the fact that we need to begin to look at the way the state governors are borrowing. The debt situation at the state level. The federal level has its own serious problem with debt, but the states are also accumulating huge debt that some of these states may not get out of for years. And the problem is that, because people will argue that it's not a problem, borrowing money, but, a lot of times when you check what they borrowed with what is on ground, really, it doesn't even tally, like, okay, where's the infrastructure? What exactly have you borrowed the money for? What have you done with the money? And these debts are going to hang on the state for years to come. Governments will come and will be burdened by these heavy debts that we keep seeing from this state government. It's not only Kaduna State, Sandra. When you said, I'm like, don't you know? Almost all the states are indebted, in one local and foreign loan.
The is as regards the figure, because, yes.
And then you now ask yourself, if all the states are indebted this much, what exactly is on ground for us to even say, oh, okay, well, we have borrowed so much money, this is what we've done with the money. There's still no road, there's no pipeline water, the health system is still poor, education is still poor. And so you ask yourself, all this money that we borrow, where does it go to? Where exactly? Because, one would expect that, look, if you put all of the debts that the states have borrowed, like from 1999 till date, we should have a country that is almost, roads free from potholes, fantastic education, fantastic healthcare, everything. We should be in some form of paradise, but nothing to show. Look at the state story of Lagos, for example. Look at Ogun State. Just look around. What exactly is on ground to show that we borrow this amount of money?
All right.
And we keep borrowing. That's the funny thing. We keep borrowing.
Well, still from that same report, just glazing through, we also have the fact that the NNPP candidate of Kaduna State, the NNPP gubernatorial candidate of Kaduna State, Senator Suleiman Hunkwi, faulted the judgment of the Federal High Court in the state, which allowed his APC counterpart, that's Uba Sani, to contest the 2023 elections, and he's prepared to take INEC to the Court of Appeal over the application of the new. So what he's challenging, is challenging the court, saying that APC did not conduct valid ward congresses to get delegates that participated in the primaries, which then produced their candidates. So they should not have been listed for the 2023 general. That's that's his grounds. Yes, all right. All right, that's all we have from the Guardian newspaper. You're listening to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. And now we're moving on to the Punch newspaper. And the major headline from the Punch newspaper now: Paris Club refund. Governor stop deductions. Consultants head for French court. All right, and the riders to that is governors will end up embarrassing Nigeria after overseas court ruling, says consultants. States won't allow illegal payments to consultants despite DMO promissory note, says NGF. So we are still on the Paris club consultant people with the AGF and the
back and forth between the AGF
and
NGF,
the governors
Paris
forum
club consultant, and this. I read through the story this morning, Sandra, and you really don't even know where to pitch your tent now, whether you stand with the governors forum or the attorney general, which is insisting.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for that, because when you listen to both sides and you're like, what exactly is happening?
And then you have, but the thing is that there's a federal high court that has given an interlocutory injunction, stopping any form of payment to be paid, and I think that's respected.
I want to ask a question.
Our sovereign nation, yeah.
These Paris club consultants, they were gotten by who and for whom?
Well, the governors were part of people that agreed to get a consultant.
So if they agreed, then why are they opposing deductions for the payment of these consultants?
No, I think that there are issues with what exactly the consultant should be paid and how
the amount
the consultant should be paid. Yes, the issue of amount,
how
the consultant should be paid. Yeah.
Okay.
I think those are the issues, and the timelines of when consultants should be paid, how they should be paid, and all of those things. I think that's the issue. And I'm saying that, look, even the AGF that is insisting that the consultant should be paid, now why is it so much invested in getting the consultant paid? The idea of the consultant, again, by Nedunwoko, is one of the consultants saying that it's going to go to a foreign court to do whatever, freeze account of the government and all of that. I don't know where that is coming from. I don't know the veracity of that. But I don't think any foreign ruling would supersede the ruling of our local court. They'll probably even wait for our local court to take the decision before they can even wade into the case. So I think all of the parties should respect our courts. There's an injunction at the Federal High Court already saying everybody should maintain status quo. Just stay calm so that they can listen to all parties and then give a verdict. I just think that the Governors Forum, the Attorney General, the consultant should respect our court and decision on this particular issue.
All right. Well, you can get all of the details on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. That is okay. That is where that is. All right. On as regards the Paris Club refund, just as I said, Nedunwoko is part of the consultant. They're saying heading for a foreign court to do.
Court. And yes. They said it's likely for a French court and
to see what's going to happen. Okay. All right, more details on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Moving on now, we also have New Naira, CBN, EFCC to track large withdrawals. That's on page 9. We also have Ekiti Sands, that's senior advocates of Nigeria, say Speaker's impeachment coup d'etat.
You go to court. Luckily, they are senior advocates of Nigeria,
so they understand. They know what they're supposed to do. So they should do the needful. Well, that is on page 13, and they have described as unacceptable the impeachment of the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, and there are plenty.
And really, we've seen precedents, so the impeachment could be upturned by the court, so they should just go to court.
All right, well, that is on page 13 of the Punch newspaper. Aribishogo himself, that's the embattled speaker, has also mentioned that he would be going. Former speaker. Embattled former speaker. Well, he has also said he will be going to court. Well, that is on page 13 of the Punch newspaper. Okay, so moving on now, we also have excess crude accounts declines by 89%. How many months ago did we talk about the decline?
I'm even surprised that there's still anything left there. I thought we were all finished.
We still had about $500,000 then.
I know what I'm saying. I'm still surprised that there's still something left. There's still 89% depletion. I thought it was going to be like 100.
No, we have 400 now. So we have about 472,000. Yes, it is. It's still something. From something billion. No, I just want to remind you. From
are you not even shocked that we still have something left there?
No, I'm very
optimistic. The way we are looking for money everywhere, anywhere, anyhow.
No.
So we should still be thankful that at least there's something left, that excess crude account. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is the report that we are getting now. It has declined by 89% in the last 8 years, from $41.1 billion in November 2014 to $472,513 in the same period of 2022. So, the ECA, let's not forget, is the federal government's fiscal account. It was created to save revenues that were generated from oil sales. So basically what this means is we are not making money, so we don't have funds in our accounts. So that's just basically what that means. But hopefully, well, hopefully, something should be done about the oil price. We've mentioned something about the deregulation happening in the oil sector, but I don't know, so that we won't have to have it go back to the conversation of yesterday. All right.
The easiest thing anybody will tell you for us to have some that is to deregulate and ensure that subsidy is removed. And all. I'm not saying that, yes, since we've made subsidy that kind of demon that does not do anybody any
good. Yes.
But again, we have to look at ourselves. If we have to deregulate at the time, open up the market and say, oh, subsidy goes away, how much will ordinary Nigerians buy a liter of fuel? Will we be able to cope? What will be the poverty level? What will be the pain that Nigerians go through? And then the question is the money we save on subsidy, how are we sure that it will be judiciously used? How are we sure that it's not going to end in the pocket of these same people who will find ways of still diverting it? So those are the issues. And I'd rather say that, look, we still hold on to our subsidy even though it's been messed up, until when we're able to fix our refineries, do the right and remove subsidy eventually.
All right. Thank you very much. More details on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here PDP differs as APC dismisses electronic result transmission. So that there have been a lot of back and forth as regards the BVAS. So BVAS is still an issue for so many ones. But what we have now is that the national chairman of the APC, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, has raised concern over the proposed use of the bimodal voter accreditation system for the 2023 general elections. And, INEC has insisted that, they were going to go ahead with it.
We are going to use this. And I'm surprised that the APC chairman is raising concerns at this time. What concerns exactly?
But what threats could the BVAS be to the elections?
No, there can't be any threats.
So what exactly are the concerns?
We'll get better with it. We have to continue to improve. We can't continue with the analog way of doing things. We all know that when there's too much analog involved in the process, it leads to corruption. It leads to all manner. So we have to continue to improve. If BVAS is not perfect, whatever there are little issues with it in this election, means that we have another 4 years to make it better, and we'll continue to improve with it. So we can't continue to do things the old way. So we are going to use it. I think everybody has accepted and will use it. And it has come to stay. BVAS, we must use it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. To him, he's saying that to transmit results to all parts of the country, he's not sure if network covers all parts in the country, because
I think INEC already makes provisions for areas that are not don't have networks and all of that. It can be. I think if 60 to 70% of Nigeria is well covered, other areas, I think there are alternative positions from INEC or not to do with those areas. So we'll continue to improve. We can't say, because of that little a part of the country that are not covered, we should do away with BVAS. I don't know where that is coming from. Not even just less than 90 days or about 90 days to the election. This kind of thing from the APC chairman.
Well, PDP apparently differs, in that particular concern. I don't know, but just as you have said, I'm sure that the INEC has put all of that into consideration.
INEC has gone beyond listening to anybody questioning the use of BVAS. They are ready to use it, and so be it.
It's okay. All right then. Okay, but INEC, PDP is saying that they are fully behind INEC in the use of BVAS and the planned transmission of results in real time. And that is coming from the spokesperson of the for the party, Debo Olugbagba. Yeah. Okay, moving on. We also have on the front page of the Punch, NNPC meets marketers as petrol scarcity bites harder. That is on page 21. of the
Use
Punch
as media
newspaper.
standard. Getting very, very bad.
Yes, of course. Okay. We also have here, still on the front page, Obi's plane grounded. Campaign trained 6 alternative arrangements. What happened? So
No,
what?
I think regulatory issues.
Mm. So
That is something. Yeah.
at the Lagos airport, supporters of
Mm.
Labour Party presidential candidates were prevented from boarding a campaign plane for their rally in Ibadan, and I'm trying to get the reason exactly, but they said some people or someone was the first person to raise the alarm following a report that the plane had been grounded, and they had to go and tweet that the plane was grounded by powers that be. I don't know.
Well, I think Obi and his campaign has what it takes to question the reason for grounding his plane.
Mm.
If it's for safety or regulatory issues, well, there are alternatives. I'm sure the campaign is ready to continue to go on with the campaign. They have people who are ready to support. I think there are people who are even ready to put their private jets available for him to campaign around the country. So we need to know really, the report is not completely complete on why the plane was grounded. So I don't want to over speculate on it, but that's a story. And I'm sure that will not stop the campaign train. He will continue to move. It's the third force that people have been asking for. So I don't think anything will stop that third force from moving around. So let's see how that goes. But that's all the story, and I really don't want to over speculate on that.
All right. Okay, and that's all. That's on page 13. Okay, that's on page 13 of the Punch newspaper. Okay, moving on now. Thank you very much for staying with us. It's still trends in the papers on mainland 98.3 FM. And now finally from Vanguard newspaper, the major headline: why I approved redesign of Naira locally, says Buhari. And there are riders to that. We have why Naira has not been redesigned in 19 years, says Emefiele. Adds, we are yet to receive large deposits, says only 165 billion naira received as at last Friday. I thought we had that conversation. Okay, let's keep moving. Once there will be no deadline extension. So that is on page 5. Yes, page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here $418 million Paris refund. Governors vow to stop consultants' payments. That's on page 8. We also have Osinachi was always afraid or in husband's presence. Brother tells court. So that is still in court.
Human don't die. All these campaign before, campaign after election, how do you say? Just unfortunate that people around the woman are safe, to get out of that toxic mind. But again, she's dead. These regulations don't solve anything. The children are now without their mother. The man is also going back and forth in court. It's just advice to women. I think the idea of thinking divorce is a problem. It mainly a marriage that's getting to a point where either of the partner could die. It's just important that it goes their separate ways.
Well,
for the sake of the children, really.
That's on page 7 of Vanguard. Moving on, we also have Obi represents soul of Ndibo, and that is coming from Ohaneze. And that you can get all the details on page 11 of Vanguard newspaper. So, let's see what we have here. Yes. Okay, the Apex Igbo Sociocultural Group, Ohaneze Ndibo, has again reaffirmed the full support of Ndibo for the presidential ambition of Labour Party candidate Mr. Peter Obi, saying that he represents the body and soul of Ndibo. And they are just reiterating their stand.
Definite position now, like when
we're not hearing anything.
So every group has a right to endorse whoever they want to endorse, and a few days from the elections, it would be nice to see what the outcome would be. But ultimately, I think for all Nigerians, we all should be ready to accept the result, to make it violence free, during and post election is very, very important. And if anybody feels dissatisfied about anything, the courts are there too, which is also part of the electoral process. The election tribunals, the courts should also do their job. The electoral empire, which is INEC, should also be above board, ensure that everything goes well, and then we can have a smooth transition in 2023.
All right, more details on page 11 of Vanguard. Also, we have here, we've recovered $1 billion looted funds since 2015. That's coming from the federal government. And what we have as regards that particular report is that the federal government said yesterday that it has recovered $1 billion being looted funds since the inception of the current administration, till date. And that the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents at the end of the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting. Okay? And they revealed that the preceding government recorded only 109 convictions before 2015. Okay, while this administration, the Buhari administration, has convicted over 3,000 offenders and recovered about $1 billion to date. Okay, I want to ask a question though. Have we heard anything as regards Ahmed Idris, the former accountant general? Have we gotten anything as regards?
He's on bail. I think he's on bail, and he will continue to have his time in court.
Okay.
My own issue is the figure $1 billion recovered from 2015 by this government. Sorry, maybe you need to just check, and I think our listeners should go and check. All of the beautiful things that we've seen Qatar do at the World Cup, the new stadiums, the fantastic thing, everything that the world is celebrating today at the World Cup in Qatar. How much was used to do it? And we have recovered $1 billion. So it just tells you something that, look, maybe one day we'll open the books how the resources of the country was also managed from 2015 till date. This government prides itself on corruption-free.
Price to 240. The front page of Punch that have raised petrol price to 240 naira per liter.
I think I bought for how much yesterday? I bought 250 per liter yesterday, Sandra. And I had to just fill up.
Wow. 250?
Yes, I bought 215.
215? Wow.
I bought 215.
215 naira?
Yeah, per liter yesterday.
Right. Well, that is a lot of people's reality in Lagos now, as it is now. Aside from the fact that it is scarce, then it is also expensive. But that's on page 8 of CPC. Okay, and we also have here your rally, Labour Party campaign organization, aviation authorities bicker over grounded plane. All right, and then we also have. All right, thank you. And then we also have 2023 APC kicks against deployment of BVAS and IREV. And finally, DMO raises 3.2 trillion naira from domestic market to fund 2022 budget. That's on page 8. And that is all we have from the three major papers that we treated this morning. Okay, so we'll be back by 8:40 as we open up the phone line and we have a robust conversation as regards whatever or whichever of the trending stories that we treated this morning. So you can call in or you can send a text message or a WhatsApp message. So stay with us. You're still on to Mainland 98.3 FM and we are the sound of Lagos. We'll be right back.
Risi, where's your sister?
She's in the bedroom.
Oh, yeah, call her for me.
Baraka, mommy is calling you.
Hey, Risi, Joe, please buy me chill drink from Dogo.
Dogo, you there outside? Abeg, help us bring one chill drink, come.
Risi, sorry, please check if it's your daddy that's at the door. You that your line had been blocked. How did you get the credit that you're using, K?
I linked my NIN to my MTN line and got 20k free airtime.
Yes, so link your NIN to your MTN line today and get 20,000 naira bonus airtime. Visit any MTN center near you to begin.
Mommy, where are you going?
MTN Experience Center, of course. You think it's only you that like good thing, eh?
Terms and conditions apply.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Hey! Una dey hear am so? Roland Properties and Allied Services Limited don land again, oh, and this time they go dey give una the opportunity to become house owner. Oh, listen, make I yarn una. Roland Properties and Allied Services Limited, then they offer 2 and 3 bedroom semi-finished and fully finished apartment with CFO for just chicken money from 9.5 million naira. You fit comot tenant clothes for body, oh. E never finish, my people. When you deposit 500,000 naira, Roland Properties and Allied Services Limited go spread the payment for you for up to 24 months. What do you wait for now? Call them Kiaka on 0702-5004-754 or visit www.rollerproperties.com. Roland Properties and Allied Services Limited, for peace of mind. The city of God.
Listen to this to understand the amazing power of 5G.